All right. Well, officially welcome everybody to Evolved, how the new planets and the new chakra system help us live in 5D and beyond. And I'm really excited that we get to be together here. And Oriel is a Kuiper Belt astrologer, an intuitive Kuiper Belt astrologer. I am an intuitive guide and energy channel. And recently, during my my She Who Rises masterclass, for those of you who have been there and joined that, all right, Sylvie is joining us here. Awesome. During this masterclass, there was something new that came in, new to me, and that was a whole different chakra system that was heart-centric. So the heart at the center of this chakra system. And I'll tell you all more about that later. And I just felt there was such an overlay with what Oriel was doing or is doing with her astrology and her access to what she's doing, and she will tell you more about it all later, that I thought we needed to have this conversation. It was just, actually, I immediately felt like I got to talk to Oriel about it. This is amazing. And to me, overall, it feels like it's an opening into a whole new, lighter way of being. It truly feels like this evolution from brain to heart into a heart-led way of being. There is a lot of ease and love and beingness to it. It feels pure, it feels clear, and all those things. And what I would love to do in the beginning, after Oriel says her hellos, is just to bring us together for just a moment to kind of create the space here, if that's okay with y'all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is that cool? Shall we do it now?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's just take a deep breath.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's find out where Sylvie is. Sylvie, can you hear us? We don't see you or hear you.
All right, Sylvie is, her video is off. Her audio is not on. She's here. Maybe she can hear us. And I was, yeah. Well, if you can hear, so in all of those of you, all of those of you who are watching later and on the replays, just join in as you come to this, right? And Sylvie, if you have a problem, maybe you just skip out and come back in again or so if you have a problem joining like this. Yeah, because there's nothing that I can do from my end, I believe. I am, yeah. So otherwise, just write into the chat if there's anything. Okay, she just went off. So for all of us here and for all of us watching on Facebook later or now, and for all of us, for all of you watching the replay, let's just take a moment and arrive. And let's just spread out this energy of arrival to all those that are still coming in, that they're already feeling this energy of just coming here, just coming center, because we had a moment of excitement before because the Zoom link was off, and then we had a moment of excitement because our lives are flowing. So let's just come here just for a moment. Let's take a deep breath. Put our feet on the ground. And really start feeling that heart center, that heart space. Take a breath into that heart space. And it's almost like take a grounding breath into this heart space. Like imagine like you're grounding into your heart. And feel how the heart is connected to Gaia. And feel how the heart is connected to the cosmos, to the universe, to God. And how you and your heart are at the center of it. Yeah, take a breath with that. And allow for that to just kind of settle in. Just kind of like be what is. Like almost in a peaceful kind of way, right? Yeah. Take another breath with that. And allow for this all to become even more spacious. Just kind of spread out and expand. And let the expansion settle in, ground in. Another breath. And expand even more. Yeah. Now let's just be here. Yeah. All right. Hello, Christina. Hello, Christina. Ah, great to have you here. Very cool.
Siehst du mich? Nein, ich habe noch kein Video, gell?
Oh, you don't have video
Ah.
yet. There you are.
Hello, hello.
You have video. Hello, hello. Christina is just coming off her own workshop.
Yes.
So
Und
she
ich war pünktlich heute.
and she was on time. Yes, awesome. Right, we just grounded into this space, into just being here and expanding out and grounding into our heart. So now we're all here. Awesome. And all right. Okay, got that. All right, here we go. Ariel, do you want to
Yes.
tell us about all about what you know and have around what you have around these Kuiper Belt objects and how they relate to a heart-centered way of beingness and these new chakras, that chakra system that is showing itself and is opening up? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, my grounding with all of this comes from 5D. I feel very connected to our shift into the quantum leap of fifth dimension consciousness. And I wrote a book for people who know nothing about 5D. It's called 5D Ordinary Descriptions of an Extraordinary Shift. So that's one part of this. And then the other part of it is I have been an astrologer for over, Karen, thank you for saying that you read it. It's very practical information for people who know nothing about this quantum leap and just how all of the changes in life are bringing us to this. And then that work evolved into the Kuiper Belt object astrology. And as I started to say, I've been an astrologer for over 40 years. And astrology is, it's an infinite practice that you can do anything. You can go down any road and have information, cosmic information that's pertainable to helping us live our lives more fully, more lovingly. And I took Alan Clay's class of the Dwarf Planet University. It was 2 years of looking at 10 of these planets, 10 of these planets. And after that class, the sky just opened up. The sky just poured out. And I'm going to share my screen for a minute. Share my screen. Okay. Maybe you could talk about the reading that you had, that we did.
So what I want to talk about is, yes, the reading that we did helped, because I feel many of the people that I talk to that are in my world, and I believe that are in your world, Ariel, and that are here on this call, we're all here we feel like we have a bigger mission. There's something that we want to do in this world that kind of goes beyond maybe what has been done before, what has been seen before. We just have this kind of idea of like, right, of growth and expansion. And so the reading that you did was definitely one where that started to make sense, where that astrology that you tap into makes sense with this evolution that we're going through, with what we are tapping into as humans as a whole, and then specifically maybe the ones that kind of have this idea of like, yeah, there is this evolution happening. We're tapping into ahead of some people. So it made sense to me for what we are evolving into. It just everything just started to fall into place energetically, and just from a just a mental, my brain could follow along as well. So there was that. And then the other thing that just began to happen after we had this reading, more and more pieces started coming into place. More and more pieces started showing themselves. And the biggest piece, as to what I was saying before, was this emergence into my consciousness, maybe our consciousness, of this heart-centered chakra system. And this heart-centered chakra system has an incredible power. And it also has an incredible simplicity. It truly is our heart at the center of it all. And then it connects to all the different other energy centers. And there's this feedback loop that starts, that forms a new energy centers partially. And I only know parts of it, but the parts that I do know is that a friend of mine said it's the energy formerly known as power. It feels like it creates a new power that has nothing to do with this overpowering thing that we have known in our evolution so far. It is gentle, it is present, it is almost inevitable, it is graceful, it is loving, it is compassionate, and it's very, and I can just feel all this energy around it. It's almost like it's so new that sometimes our nervous system, our nervous systems get like almost overwhelmed with it, and at the same time, it's very peaceful at its core. It is very peaceful at its core. So let's just breathe that in for a second. Let's just allow for the peacefulness and the love and the presence of this new energy system to just kind of come online and be here. And I was just having a conversation with Jill before we hopped on this call, and it was about the sounds and the things that our senses cannot necessarily perceive, yet they are all around us. And as I was walking back from the shower, I have an outdoor shower, and I was walking back through the yard here, and I was just kind of became aware of the simplicity possible, of the simplicity of the receiving of what's around us. It's like there is so much possibly that goes beyond our perception, like in the bird song, in the wind, in the whatever's around us outside. But there is also so much information in that we can receive with our heart. And it's simple. It's just an opening. And it's just an opening into receiving it. It's not hard. Yet it's not complicated. Yet we're so not used to it. So this is an invitation from my end to just open up to what is possible beyond what we know, what we think we know, what we know how to receive. What is possible beyond that? And how can that inform us going forward from a heart-led space? Hope that makes sense. And Oriel?
Yes, Claudia, thank you so much for
Read
helping
now.
helping me out there while I found the what I wanted to share. So what I loved about the reading that we shared that was that you asked for a reading on the energies, and we talked for 90 minutes. Yeah. And my background work on it involved 67 planets, and we did not mention one astrology word or jargon, nothing. It was just about the energies. And that's what's possible. These are energies, as Claudia is saying. And so my process, so I went from the 5D work that I was doing, evolved into the dwarf planets with Alan Clay. And then, as I was saying before, that the sky just opened up. And the sky opened up, you can, first of all, do you see all these white dots around this? This is the Kuiper Belt. And the Kuiper Belt has countless, infinite numbers of bodies, of deep space bodies that are centaurs and trans-Neptunian objects and sedenoids and all kinds of cubanos, all kinds of different bodies of cosmic love. And we know right now, we know about 55 of them. So what this tells me is that we are being, and first of all, the energy of the Kuiper Belt, like as I said, I've been an astrologer for over 40 years, and the energy of the Kuiper Belt is like love pouring out from the sky. It is so amazing. And so I'm working with about 55 with the traditional planets, 12, 15 planets and points. So that's 67 objects that I look at in a chart. And look at how many there are. What that says to me is we have support beyond anything we can imagine. It's just, we are so loved. And the energy of the Kuiper Belt planets are love. And they've also taught me, sometimes I have a tendency, people regard me as having rose-colored glasses on, and it's not that. It's just where I come from. way back, people didn't fight with one another. So being on Earth has always been challenging for me, as many of you, I think. And so the Kuiper Belt objects are also showing me the dark and light in life. So they're real educators, they're real teachers. And the shift, first of all, I opened up to the dwarf planets, the Kuiper Belt planets, and then I became aware that it had to be heliocentric astrology. And heliocentric astrology looks at the sun as the center of the chart instead of the earth as the center. The earth and the moon are together and the sun is at the center. So what this does is what Claudia has been referring to. It just lifts the vision higher. It opens the space. It raises the frequency and the vibration to higher and higher and higher. Unlimited. And it's just incredible. So incredible. And then this is the more of the Kuiper Belt objects here that you see. We have the sun, and then we have the planets that we know so well, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, all of those. Well, Pluto is a dwarf planet out in one of this realm. And so it's all of this is part of who we are and part of how we can be connected. And so when Claudia shared to me during the reading, she shared to me that she was aware of this chakra opening up, evolving between the heart and the solar plexus. And then I was aware that for a long time, we have been dealing with that chakra, the high heart, the chakra between the heart and the throat. So that led me to think, the chakras are evolving. First of all, with 5D and with the Kuiper Belt astrology, the heliocentric astrology, it has to be through the heart. It has to be through the body. Our minds just can't grasp this. It has to be another channel that we plug into, and that is the heart. And so the body is the messenger these days. And I was aware of that high heart. And then when Claudia mentioned that she was getting this information about this new chakra between the heart and the solar plexus, I thought, well, that must be happening with all of the chakras. And so, Claudia, I'll hand it over to you. I'll stop sharing for right now and hand it over to you. And I just want to say hello to my friend Monica. Hello, Monica. We can't see you or hear you, but hi, welcome.
Yes.
Hi there. Hi.
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 Hi, everyone.
Yeah. And just before I hand it over to Claudia, I want to ask if anybody, this is a conversation. So does anyone want to chime in, share, report on what your experiences are?
And maybe there's questions later too.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Okay, Karen,
No,
all new
right?
to you. Okay.
It is new. It is new. And yet I wonder, as you say this, it's all new to me. So let's tap in for a moment and let's just, what if it's more of a remembrance? What if, yes, it's new to our brains, but what if it's actually a remembering of beingness in a way? So let's just allow that to be here for a second, yes? So what if it's not even a complicated learning of anything new, but just more of a deepening of the remembrance? Ooh, that was good, eh? I never know. See, that's the thing. I never, things just come in as they come in. And whenever we are in these groups and conversations and or in one-on-one sessions, I'm learning with you what this is, right? So we're just, and that's the other thing too, as we are here in collective and community, I should have closed those windows. We all bring a peace to this. If it's spoken or not spoken, but we all bring an energetic piece to this conversation that opens something up, that lets something else fall in or whatever. So what if this is a remembering? What if this is not a new thing for our brain to grasp? And it's just a bringing something online that's always been there. Let's just take a breath with it, and let's just let that, really sink in, settle in our system. Yeah. And what if it can be all? It can be new, and it can be a remembering. It can be all of it. And we're at the center of it. And we get to unfold and experience and be that, right? And the heliocentric piece, Oriel, for me is such a thing. I mean, I like somehow my system relates to that so well. From that heart space to the sun, it's something, and then onto the central sun. It's just something. It just goes like, oh, almost like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete sense to whatever it makes sense to. I mean, from a intellectual standpoint, but also from like a whole system standpoint. So what if it could be this easy, just this heart sun, central sun connection? And let's just allow the energy for that to come in and activate, right? And it's almost like a funnel, just let it come in. And then like the Kuiper Belt objects, right? This loving planet. So what if our chakras around it are just this beautiful support system, like energy system, where we get different facets, different nuances of our experience as humans, as these conscious beings here on Earth. And Oriel, you mentioned the one where heart and solar plexus is connected. That's at the bottom of our breastbone, our sternum. That's the first one I ever knew about in that connection. I didn't know it was a whole system. I had kind of an inkling, but I didn't know much. I know this as the emerald green center of peace and healing. And the energies, and I'm just, some of you know this already, I'm bringing this in real quick. The energies go beyond, it's more than one-on-one makes two. It's one-on-one somehow makes three, but the energies go beyond what we know, like with our regular chakras. But they're all, everything that I've kind of tapped into with these new chakras is, as Oriel said, it's loving, it's supportive, and it is powerful. It's this gentle power. It's really sweet. And let me read some comments. Just a high frequency can't explain. Yeah. Well, going to the 5D, leaving 3D ego behind, mind control. Yeah, totally. How long has it been there? You mean like our awareness of it being there, or how long has it existed, period? What we know. Oh, like how long has it? For me, the first part of it has dropped in about a good year ago, I would say. That was the Emerald Center. So that knowing for me has been there a little more than a year, I would think. And Desiree said, yes, like breathing and digesting, we do not think about it. It goes naturally. Yeah.
Yeah, and to answer your question, does it tie into the age of Aquarius, Karen? It does tie into the age of Aquarius, and there are two shifts that are happening. There's the shift from the third dimension to the fifth dimension and higher, and there's also the Aquarian age. And they, as you read in the book, they kind of overlap, or they're integrated, cycle upon cycle. And what Claudia mentioned before about a remembering, I get that, but for me, it's in a different direction of becoming. It's like all, like these chakras are opening up. The chakras, the body is evolving. It's the body intelligence and the sensate wisdom, and of course the chakras would evolve, because we're getting all of these downloads, first of all from all the space weather, the sun, how that's evolving, the earth is evolving, the cosmos is evolving. So it's like all of these Kuiper Belt planets, they have been discovered since the 1990s, most of them since the 2000s. So this speaks to our new awareness, to our new awakening. And just to bounce back to what Claudia was saying, for me, it's about stretching in to who we are. And there is a part of remembering. It's also an awakening. I mean, it's semantic. It's different language, but it's like awakening. It's fulfilling and becoming and evolving. It's like the light switch is being turned on.
And it's the time of and. So that
Yes.
I think too, it's the time of and. So when we're saying it's an awakening and it's an evolution, it's evolving, yes. It's a remembering, yes. It's the time of and. It's the time of this seemingly contradictory things all being true at once. And that was the one of the things that I knew about this Emerald Center. It was, like plasma has 3 aggregate states. So it's very plasma related. It was like this and, yes. Seemingly you can't be 2 things at once. Yes, you can, or 3.
Yes.
So it has a lot to do with that. And there is a lot. And if we can bring it back to again and again to the simplicity at the core of it, and core heart, la cœur en français, core heart, the simplicity of it all. We can remember that. We can remember to coming back to the simplicity of it all. That's almost like that's the first step. That's one of the things, the core things. Yeah.
Yes, it does make life simple, much simpler. It's not so complicated. And Karen, Sedna does help, absolutely. And the solar flares are very intense. That's why we often have to take to the bed, because our bodies are shifting. It's not on a rational process. It's on a biophysical, biocosmic process. And we have to adjust. We have to allow that shift to happen. And so more rest time, more quiet time, more hydration, or not more hydration, but adequate hydration. And Sedna does absolutely help. But Sedna is at the farthest reaches of our solar system, way out there. And that's what's happening. Our consciousness is expanding. Like Claudia said, we're being bigger and more open.
Yeah.
So does anybody want to share anything? How is this landing? What are your experiences? Please unmute yourself and share. Yes, go ahead. Well, it's interesting you say chaos in the comments, Karen, because chaos is one of the Kuiper Belt objects, and chaos in our English language means chaotic, confusion, but it actually means the void. It means the void out of which everything comes. So chaos is a really good thing. And that's the difference. The next comment, fear, for some, yes, we can either hang on to fear, or we can release the control and realize we're part of, we're being supported, we're connected, that all of that chakra system is connected. We know that, and it's opening up, it's expanding. It's incredible.
Yeah, there is something around this. If we can, oftentimes, if we can literally just intend to give it space, you know, as I said, the expansion, if we just intend to give it space. So when this chaotic energy comes and when we just get back into fear and all kind of things, so what if we intend to just give it space? So almost like that all the parts can kind of land where they need to land, rearrange themselves anew, and then stay in our center, right? Stay in this heart space center and intense space. Can you feel the difference? Right? So, yeah. Yeah, with the chaos, and it can feel super uncomfortable, right? Like the whole void thing. Yeah.
Yes, Karen, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I just think, you know, we're like, I hate to use this word, like we're already evolved into 5D. We get it. But I'm alone out here and I can't even have conversations with some people about this. They think I'm off as it is being an astrologer. Never mind talking about, you know, I do drum circles and I try to talk about, you know, Renaissance or New Earth. And they're like, what? I talk about Uranus and Sedna, you know. I have the tuning forks here from Uranus and Sedna. They're my two favorite
Awesome.
planets. Because I'm
Awesome.
Aquarian, so of course I like Uranus, but no one, I can't seem to reach anybody. I just so like want to just help people get out of the fear and, you know, get into the light, but you can't push it on anybody, you
No.
know. If they sat in on this conversation, they would probably hang up. Kepler belt, and this is fascinating to me, but most people are just like, what is she talking about?
So that can be one of your prayers, Karen, and one of your heart wishes is to find community. I find an incredible amount of support on Facebook. There's something called source messages, and I don't know who this person is, but they are on target. Every day they post something that just lifts my heart. And there's countless. I mean, you and I can have a conversation and I can share some resources that, you know, give me support and comfort. And it's just like, I'm to the point where this is what I know. This is what my heart knows. This is what my body knows. And you know, that's the direction I'm going. That's where I'm at. You know, Claudia, is that the same for you?
You know, I've actually had a galactic astrology readings done as well, you know, and that, you know, where I come from was probably up Taurus, and, you know, and that just so like resonated, all that stuff, healthcare workers interested in healing coming from Arcturus, you know, and now, you know, it was just like, oh my God, it was just like, oh, that's it, you got it, I got it, I got it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
And there's
galactic stuff is pretty interesting. It doesn't make you feel like you're just here by yourself. You know, you have and I have a lot of you know, galactic energy, you know, in the chart anyway.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so Sirius and Pleiades, and, you know, I've been around. I had a whole history done of my galactic chart, and, you know, where I started from, at evolutionary. It was like, oh my God.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
on the natal thing, they went and did this whole other shift in my galactic. Really,
Right.
it was really stunning. It was stunning. It was right on.
Well, you can call on them. You know, that's another part of this. It's like, you know how we connect with our pets. I saw a cat in your window. We connect with our pets. We connect with our plants. We connect with nature. Distance doesn't matter. You know, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, we were working on time is relative, space is relative. It doesn't matter that Sedna is so far away from us. We are still connected. We are still connected. And I just want to say something, Claudia, before you jump in. We have to translate the myths into current understanding. Like Sedna her story, her mythological story could be that she was a submissive woman, but that's not really what it is. So we have to translate the myths. She allowed herself to evolve and become. And we have to all of the Kuiper Belt planets, the TNOs, they're creation gods and goddesses. They have their stories, they have their myths. We have to translate those myths into our current understanding. It's like we're moving from the Piscean age to the Aquarian age. It's a new understanding that goes beyond this conversation, but that's part of it as well.
Well, Sedna's been betrayed. That's why I think she's coming in right now between her suitor and her dad. They betrayed her. We've been betrayed.
But she found herself in that betrayal.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why her message, I think, is so strong. Coming in now, after not being here since Atlantis, she's coming in now, like after 11,000 years, she's coming here to give us a message about betrayal and consciousness and awakening. I'm just blown away by that planet. I mean, I don't know. You know more them than I do, but I happen to have an attraction towards that one because their whole myth.
Yeah, yes, well, they're all like that. They all have some wisdom to share and so much love to give. Claudia.
Yes. And as Oriel was saying, there is a lot of, I think, support if it's sometimes not around you immediately in your immediate, circle. There's a lot of support online and groups and such. And you see me looking up sometimes, and I'm streaming this live into my Facebook group, the Heartlight Leadership Circle, and so I'm gonna read whatever Desiree was saying before in a second, but so I see the comments there, and so it seems like we're finding each other all over the world, and some conversations we just can't have with. I find I modulate myself. I'm never not me. I'm never not talking. I cannot not be about what I'm about, period. That's just it. Well, sometimes I might not say anything if I feel like this is just not a receptive, but otherwise I just feel I modulate myself and I just share maybe wherever I feel like there's a heart connection possible, like to what level there is, like where I'm not a hindrance with my information, but more of a contribution, not I'm like, oh, I know this thing and you don't. It feels like beside the point. So I just kind of try to look for that I don't know, exchange. And then sometimes, if we, as I said, this power, it's a gentle power, right? It's not overpowering. There's a gentleness to it. And as a nurse, you probably know gentleness in a way, right? You're probably not like Nurse Ratched. But this creating these openings with people. And then sometimes they go like, and the other thing, I do this finger thing all the time. I don't know what that's from. I was probably a teacher in my previous life. I find it so often that people go like, oh my God, I've had these experiences, or oh my God, but you can talk to anyone about this. I'm like, you can talk to me. So this sentence of, but you can't tell anybody that. I hear that so often now. So I think if we just open to that, we might find that there's more and more and more of us out there than we think. And the other cool thing, Karen, is people are so effing relieved. They're like, oh, finally a soul I can actually have this exchange with that does not think I'm completely whacked out. So Yeah, I think that's another evolutionary piece that's really,
Well, I think we're coming out of this fear mongering and the news and all this other stuff, and no one knows what to believe, and all the injuries and all that. And people are just like don't know where to turn, don't know who to believe. I think things are starting to open up a little bit more now. I think people are starting to realize they're starting to become more awake. I'm just noticing that. I've been awake for so long,
Yeah.
and like
yeah,
I guess most astrologers are awake.
Yeah.
We just have to just be patient, and it's very subtle. Like, and I talk about, when I do the jump circles, and I meet with this group once a week, once a month. I'm just very subtle about it. I say, Uranus is here, and he's a good guy. He's the father of Saturn, and I get into a little bit. I make it fun, and interesting, and then I see if people are bored or they don't want to hear it, then I just shut up. That if people want to hear it, then I go a little further.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just being really easy because it's
yeah,
very
that's right.
strong. It's very strong. Come in like to talk about the planets, even though medical astrology is the first astrology ever. Hippocrates even, they all did this stuff. People
Yeah.
are just like they are like, oh really? No, 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 no. But what I find interesting too is Mike, the guy from Tyson there, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He says we have the same minerals and the same elements as the star. We're
Right.
stardust. That's the
Exactly.
other thing that throws people off. Like, what? We're part of the stars? Yeah. We are. He's an astrophysicist. He's not even an astrologer. So he says this as an astrophysicist, a Harvard guy. He had a planetarium museum in New York, and so it's not like Karen's astrology stage. It's woo woo. It's not woo woo. It's real science.
Yeah.
We're
And
part
it's
of the Big Bang, and we try to tell people that. Like,
Uh,
I'm not going there right now.
Desiree was saying before. I love the idea of becoming and stretching into higher consciousness. Feels very expansive. Yeah, and I think
There's less suffering. When you're in this place, you're not in fear. There's less suffering. You feel like light. You feel happy. You feel bliss. You just like it's just a great place to be.
it's a great place to be, isn't it?
mhm.
And maybe it's just this invitation for people like, hey, there's more out there. And if they want to join, if they're not, they don't want to join, if they don't want to know their stardust composition, then that's fine
Yeah.
too. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
I know. Yeah. When I first heard that a long time ago, I was like, yeah,
oh, yeah,
right. How am I going to pass this one on? But then I became to really get it.
I know, and it's so fun. Isn't it fun? Like to think like, oh my
It is
God.
Yeah.
fun. And then I don't even care anymore because I'm at my authentic self like you are, Claudia. You just said, you're our authentic self. We're
Yeah.
not hurting anybody. We just think differently, but we think positive.
Yeah.
What we're saying is enriching. It's positive. It's moving forward. Of course, Aquarians are like that anyway. But that's good news. That's good
Claudia,
news.
Claudia, we've got about 10 minutes left on the hour.
Sorry.
Shall
You
we
can tell
shall
I'm
we
desperate to talk to somebody.
shall we wind up with kind of a meditation or a quietness to just bring this all together?
Yeah, I would love to do that. And before we do that, I would also love for you to tell people how they can work with you, reach you, if they want to go deeper, if they want to do something personal, whoever is watching this on the replay and doesn't know that already. So how can that happen?
Oh, lovely, Claudia. Thank you so much. I'll share my screen again. Hopefully it's still up there. Okay. Yes, it is. Yay. Okay. So here's my stuff. This is me. My email is at the bottom of this.
It's Oriel at orielwilliams.com, right?
Exactly. I'm sorry, it's not showing on this. So I wrote the book 5D Ordinary Descriptions and Ordinary Descriptions of an Extraordinary Shift. Love and the Frequency of You is a digital subscription. It costs in US currency $6.06 each month. It takes me the month to write it. I write about the Kuiper Belt activity for the solar month. I have a Calendly link that we can talk for 20 minutes or so to find out what you were looking for or what you'd like to explore. And then I have an email list. So if you send an email to Ariel@arielwilliams.com, we can go from there. And how about you, Claudia? How do people connect with you?
Well, there is, so first of all, email is great. If we're looking at this on Zoom on the replay, you can catch me at claudia@claudiasasse.com. It's Claudia at Claudia, CLAUDAA, at Claudia, and then Sasse is SASSE. I love that name, by the way. It means kind of rabbit hole, going deep in German. And it means sassy, which is much more my personality in English. So, or it's non-sassy. It's like, ta-da, it's all of it. So claudia@claudiasasse.com. And so you can reach out there for me. You can find me on Facebook. You can join the Heart Light Leadership Circle on Facebook. It's a lovely community with people that get all these things and love to play in those spaces. And right now, I also I have a couple of one-on-one programs that I'm working with people, and if something like that kind of pings you, just reach out to me and we'll set up a time to chat and explore that, what might work there for you or not. So my focus with people, and I predominantly have been working with women, although I've been so called into like this high-level leadership conversations and people, and there's something is unfolding with that too. And so it's an and conversation, isn't it? It really is always and. And what I've been doing is I've been working predominantly with women in this space of rising and becoming and really, really living your soul's desire, right? Like your full on like expression, like that you can be all you came here to be, all you desire to be, just the whole embodied life that just feels like you, like that. And if that is mostly it's being in a job or just your full life expression, right? A job, actually more of a business, your full life expression on all levels. So that's what I've been working on with women. And I have one program, it's your Divine Light Mission Accelerator. It's a 6-week program. And the other one is Inevitable, which is a 3-month one-on-one program. So you can reach out to me at claudiasasse.com and we'll chat.
Claudia, you are such a shining light. You're just radiant.
Oh, thank you, Ariel. So are you. It's the star. We're all stars, aren't we?
Yes.
That sometimes we're more stars in the becoming, like we're more hidden stars.
Yes.
We're going like, you don't get to see it. I'm pretending not to be one. Until we just are, and there is something to actually just being that lets everybody relax.
Yes.
Right? Everybody can just go like, and then it gives everybody the permission to also be that. Like,
right.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Desiree, yes, she is radiant. So are you, Desiree. You can see her. She's on Facebook right now. Desiree is such a, she's such a beautiful, deep, wonderful being. Desiree is always the person that takes it one step deeper. I'm like, oh, right.
Awesome.
And she just started her new life or a part of her new life in the Austrian mountains, and it looks beautiful wherever she's at right now. So there's
Awesome.
that. So, all right, with that, that is a beautiful thing to take us into this wrap-up meditation, isn't it? So,
Yes.
okay. So you are stardust, which from a material standpoint makes you a star right there. You're also light. So tap back into the light of your heart, into the brilliance of your heart. Begin recognizing its beauty and like literally like luminosity, brilliance. Begin knowing it. And with every breath, allow for that knowing to become deeper. Land deeper within your system. With every in-breath, allow that knowing to just deepen, deepen, deepen. And with every exhale, allow for it to just shine forth, just to expand. That your luminosity, that your brilliance, that the being of light and love that you are keeps deepening and expanding for you to know and for the world to see. And what if this mechanism of every in-breath, your knowing of who you truly are deepens, and the radiance of who you truly are expands? What if that mechanism just is? That's what just is now. That's what you do. That's what you be. That's what's tied into every in-breath and every out-breath. Just what is. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything with it. It's just what is. Deep and white. Your brilliance, your light, your love, your amazing luminosity, your power, your gentle power, and the inevitability of truly being who you are in the fullness of all that's possible in this life, on this planet, in this body. Take another breath with that. And let that ground in your heart, in your body, in your field. And let that harmonize all the chaos that you might perceive into the harmonic expression that it wants to be. And so it is, and so it bees, and so it flows. All right, ladies.
Thank you, Claudia. It's all about allowing, isn't it?
It's all about allowing, and it's all about actually recognizing who the F you are.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So you've been put on notice.
Yes. Oh.
Oh, really, you are all, and I'm putting
Yeah.
my email in here too. I put yours in, Ariel. I put it in.
Thank you, Monica, and everyone who is on this call is on Claudia's Facebook Live channel and who will be looking at this after the fact. We're so grateful and really wish you the best as you allow yourself to become
Yeah. And remember who you are
Yes.
and all.
Yes.
Ah, so much love to all of you. Thank you for adding your love and light to this place and your wisdom and your energy. Thank you.
Yes. And stay in touch with questions and comments and feedback and your progress, your sharing. Okay,
All of it.
bye. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.